Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do, and they don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Nuño.
How does Florida beat you? Not you, yourself. But the Florida Gators beat Texas A&M. How do they do it? Like, what would they need to be able to do for A&M to lose that game at home?
Make big plays, control the line of scrimmage, and do the basic things. Avoid turnovers and things like that.
I agree with everything you just said, but I've gotten to a point with this A&M team, at least in this kind of matchup, which, by the way, I have a lot of respect for the talent that they have there. I do. I think A&M, it's more about A&M beating themselves. Now, I do think Florida can pose some issues running the ball. Like, not only can they run the ball, I think they can make it difficult for A&M to run the ball. But I still think at Kyle Field, with a quarterback who has more experience, with a quarterback that's already beat that defense before, on the road, by the way, in his first ever start, I think at this point, even with all that respect, it's more about A&M beating themselves with dumb penalties and dumb turnovers than it is what Florida can do. Although I think Florida's good enough to beat you.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, they can beat a lot of teams, but I think at A&M's best and at Florida's best, A&M is a better team.
I agree with that. I think if they're both playing well, A&M wins. I think if they both play poorly, A&M wins. It's the whole thing is, I think A&M does have a better team, but Florida is good enough. If you're not, if they get an A and you get a B, you might lose.
Yeah.
If they play A and you get a C, it's predictable. But I think what you said about being in Kyle Field, usually I don't get too caught up with the crowd and things like that. But I do remember 2020, Dan Mullen, then the coach at Florida, complaining about the noise at Kyle Field when there was only like 27,000 people
Didn't
there.
He say we had more than that?
Yeah, because they didn't. They showed the air shot. But that was was that an 11 a.m. game? It was an early game.
It was an early game, yeah.
So imagine 108,000. So
at night.
Whatever he was upset about and feeling like it was too loud, multiply that by at least four times, and then add, like you said, at night with a whole day of the Aggies imbibing and getting ready. Yeah, I think there could be some false starts.
Well, hopefully not
on their side.
Hopefully on their side. They don't get penalized that much, although we had an insider on yesterday, Zach Goodall, who told us that that's where they've had problems, is some false starts. That being said, there's a couple of things that I look at A&M and I look at what Florida does. DJ Lagway, in year one, he had 7 starts, 9 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. In year 2, he has already 6 interceptions and 4 starts.
Well, 5 of them were in one game against LSU. Is it 6? I got to admit, I don't.
It's 7.
7. Sorry, 7.
Lagway is that guy that's so far in his career, he's that home run hitter that strikes out a lot.
Cecil Fielder? Was he a big strikeout guy? I can't remember. Canseco was.
Yeah, I'm thinking more on the lines of,
Daryl Strawberry, did he strike out a bunch?
Well, most power hitters do strike out a lot. But
Dave Kingman definitely did.
I think he's closer to Dave Kingman.
The modern answer would be Kyle Schwarber.
Thank you.
Kyle Schwarber.
Okay, thank you.
They still play baseball? Sorry, it was a joke, Richard.
So, So, I mean, he's a guy that can make these big plays, but so far in his career, he's made a lot of bad ones too.
Yeah.
But you know, when that big power hitter comes to the plate, even if he strikes out, you're still very careful.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be very careful with DJ Lagway. Try to keep him in the pocket.
How many starts does Marcel have in year one? Was it 7 in year one?
In year one, was it that many? Yeah, okay. I think it was 8 now. Now that you're thinking about it.
And he's got 5 this year. So 13 starts. In those 13 starts.
That equates to 1 season.
That is 9 interceptions. And as I mentioned, Lagway's got 16 in his 11 starts.
Yeah, I feel good about Marcel. I do think Marcel's going to be the key to this offense. And usually it is the quarterback. I get it. But more so than usual because we've talked about it earlier this week. You look at that offense and the defense for that matter too, but especially the offense, and you think, well, what does A&M have to be a championship team, or what does A&M not have? Because they have NFL level running backs. They've got explosive receivers. They actually even have a pretty good tight end. If you ever really focused on the job that Bokacher does in the blocking, I mean, he's done a hell of a job blocking, and then the offensive line. So it comes back. I think the Aggies are going to be as good as Marcel, game to game.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have to be great because he can lean on his running game and he can throw short passes and let his guys make a missed tackle turn into a long gain. So I would think that where we're so frustrated and looking for the deep completion, and I realize you got to throw deep every now and then just to remind the opponent that you will. I think that he'd be okay, taking the check downs and as soon as he grasps it, and I want to see him run more.
I do too. Let's play the game that we play on Wednesdays going over the weekend, okay?
Okay.
So we've already turned the page, but I just want to set up the new weekend with some questions.
All right.
Biggest winner of the past weekend, in your opinion? I have an answer, but you may have a
different one. Because I'll
help you. UCLA.
Well, I mean, they got a huge upset, but I'm not sure if that wasn't just Penn State being the biggest loser.
Well, that question is coming up.
Because when I think of the biggest winner, I'm going to look at, who had a big win that's going to really impact their season?
Well, there's a question coming up that I think I may have an answer for you. So I put 2. Okay. Biggest winner was UCLA. The other one was Washington. I don't know if anybody paid attention, but they had a comeback. They were down 20-0 to Maryland.
Okay.
They came back and won 24-20.
Okay. I'm not sure it's not Alabama.
Alabama's win over Vandy. Again, if you've been following the last season and a half, you'd be like, that's a hell of a game. If you just think about the brand, Vandy.
Right. But that was a heck of a game. In fact, Alabama, they scored with 17 seconds to go to mess up my 3-team parlay, but they scored with 17 seconds to make it look like it was a bigger win than it was.
Yeah.
And Vandy turned the ball over twice in the red zone.
Yep, absolutely.
So that could have gone either way. So for for Alabama to come out with a win against a pretty good team, and they can't afford. Well, I guess they can afford one more loss, but with the rest of their schedule, I don't know that they could have afforded a loss to Vandy.
The biggest loser of the weekend, I put 2 different teams on here.
Okay, Penn State
and Florida State. And the reason I put Florida State on there is that their win over Alabama kind of changed the trajectory of their season. And then who did they lose to a couple weeks ago? Virginia. There you go. So it made that Miami game so much more important. And now they are dangerously close of not being a play. They may not be a playoff team.
Yeah, but let's look at their schedule if you got it.
I don't, but I'll look it up for you.
Obviously, they're going to have a rival game against Florida to end the season.
Yep.
But when I was looking at it yesterday, and I can't remember who it was, but it just struck me. I'm like, I don't think they're losing again.
Okay. They host Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They'll win.
I would think they would win that one.
They got Stanford.
Definitely a win.
On the road at 9:30 p.m., though.
It doesn't matter. It's Stanford is god-awful.
They host Wake Forest.
Bad team.
They go to Clemson.
Struggling team. Now, maybe Clemson will put it together for one day, but I have to believe that Florida State's going to win that game.
Va Tech.
Boston Tech is awful.
NC State.
NC State is not good either. So I'm thinking that they're probably going to. I'm thinking they may play Miami again.
They might. They might play again. The most surprising performance of the weekend, well, if it wasn't the biggest winner, was the UCLA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then here's one. Which game told you the most about a team moving forward? And then I put two different answers from the same game. Is it Texas or is it Florida? In my opinion, one of those two teams I think we learned a lot more about than... Because had Texas played well in that game, you'd be like, see, they lost to Ohio State. They didn't look great in these other games, but they figured it out.
Yeah, you know what I came away from that game on Texas is that Arch is not the problem.
The offensive line.
Arch is so far down the list. Their offensive line's not good. Their receivers are over. They're not bad, but they're not what they're hyped up to be.
Their defense is not what we thought.
Their defense, especially where they lost the three really big guys. Florida ran inside on them all night.
Yep.
Whenever Florida needed a first down or a big, just run the ball inside.
Sure.
So, Arch isn't playing great, even though.
He threw for what, 298?
If you take away the interceptions, and you don't, but he
two touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yeah,
he led them in rushing though.
He was not terrible. No, they couldn't run either, and that goes back to the offensive line. I think that, to answer your question, I think that I don't mean to be provincial. I don't want to be like, knocking the Longhorns just because there's Longhorns, but I think we learned more about Texas in a negative way.
Okay.
Because I don't know if going out and beating Texas makes you a great team.
Yeah.
I go back, I was looking at it, when they played UTEP, they scored a touchdown with like 2 seconds left in the half to go up like 14-3.
Yeah.
And then I think it was 20-3 going into the fourth quarter. They didn't dominate UTEP.
Did you learn anything about Texas Tech or Houston?
Well, I didn't get to see the game. Texas Tech won like I thought they would. I think we learned about Tech. I think they're the best team in the Big 12, but I think we learned more about them. Don't they have Arizona State next week?
Yeah.
And that might be a de facto
Big 12
championship. In fact, they might end up playing twice.
Yep. Did you see the tweet that we got? If A&M, I forgot who sent it, he said, well, they won't answer, but we'll answer on the air. If A&M played Texas Tech, who do we take? And based on the information I've seen so far this season, I would take A&M.
Yeah, I think I would too.
That's not to say that I don't respect what Tech is doing, but I don't think Tech has taken on the volume or the caliber of team A&M has so far.
Right. Well, I agree with that. And I think most Tech fans would agree with that. Their biggest win right now has been Utah.
That was a good win.
Yeah. We don't know a lot about Utah, but they're a solid team. They're not Notre Dame.
No.
And they're probably not, they might not be Mississippi State because, let's face it, I just said that the Arizona State Texas Tech game may be a de facto Big 12 championship game, and Arizona State lost to Mississippi State.
This is true. But where would you, on the teams that A&M has played so far, Texas Tech would be in the top two, right?
2 or 3.
Yeah.
Or 4.
If not Notre Dame.
No, but
who would you take, Florida or Texas Tech in a match right now?
I probably would take Texas Tech, even though my typical philosophy that
take the SEC
is always take the SEC team in a non-conference game, regular season game. In the bowl games, people don't care.
This is TexAgs Live.
It is TexAgs Live. It's brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers.
And he's what kind of a guy?
He's a gem of a guy.
Yeah, that he is. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and it is currently the Go Hour.
That's brought to you by the warehouse at CC Creations.
I like the confidence today. Today's a little bit more confident.
I'm feeling good. I'm not, yesterday I wasn't feeling very good. I was playing hurt.
Yeah.
I feel a bit better today.
But see, people can't tell. That's the beauty of Olin Buchanan. When you're sick and don't feel good, we don't know.
I think a lot of us out here are having some, you're not really sick, but you're just
you're not really healthy.
Lethargic because of the change of the weather. There's some allergies out there. I know Miss Sydney, who we're going to be getting to before long, she's playing a little bit hurt too.
Yeah, Kadinsky in the back has as well.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we need to tell the people? So the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse of CC Creations. We are currently hanging out where?
In the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
So here's something for you to think about, OB.
All right, I'll think about
Any new client from TexAgs that signs up by November the 27th, will receive this offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns in Austin on the 28th.
When the Aggies beat the Longhorns.
When clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar.
That's 365 days.
That is, I think.
It could be three. It's not leap year, is it?
Nah, I don't think so.
No.
I don't really know the difference. Anyway,
leap year has an extra day.
If you want to, I know.
Of course you do.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, he'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah, you can call us or text us on the Puppies Catering and what is it, Sydney? Bartending. There you go. Hotline.
And that number is with the prefix, please.
Okay. 979. Did I mess it up again?
No, you got it right. 797 is better though.
Yeah, I was playing hurt. 979-693-1150.
Let's go around the room, left to right, to say hi to the people. Shall we do that?
Let's do.
Behind the glass is Kadinsky Cade Bickham. Hey, Cade, how are you, sir?
Hello, y'all. I'm doing good this morning, actually. I'm feeling, like you said, I'm a little bit playing a little hurt today, but we're all right.
What's this Kadinsky?
I've been calling him that for a year.
Hey, Cade, are you wearing a hoodie?
Yeah, I am wearing a hoodie.
Would you put the hood on for just a second?
Yeah.
Do you know who Ted Kaczynski is?
So now he's Kaczynski.
Yes, I know who Ted Kaczynski is.
The Unabomber.
The Unabomber.
Yeah.
That's your new nickname, the Unabomber. What's something with Panicking Cade and Unabomber?
What?
We'll figure it out.
Billy calls him Panicking Cade, or what does he call you?
Panicking Cade?
He calls me Panickum.
Panickum.
He was calling me Olin the other day. Olin Buchanan.
There's medicine for that. All right, what else, Cade?
Well, I was going to say, when you guys were talking about Florida State, I think they might be done. I think 2 losses in the ACC, I don't think that's going to get it done.
Unless they win the ACC championship.
Well, they could, but I think that Virginia has a favorable schedule the rest of the way, and they have that head-to-head. So even if they lose one more, then they would get that 10-2 head-to-head ACC championship bid.
So you think a 10-2 Florida State with a win over Alabama doesn't get in?
No.
Okay. With a win, and one of your losses is to number 2 Miami.
How many ACC teams made it last year? 2, right?
3, I think.
Was it 3?
It was 2. SMU
and Clemson. And Clemson barely got in.
They're a 1 or 2 bid league, I think. I don't know if they're gonna get more than 2, but 2 I feel like is the max.
I'm going to predict that if Florida State goes 10-2, that they'll get in.
The year they went 11-1, well, that was a 14 playoff, where Jordan Travis got hurt. They didn't get in.
They didn't go 11-1. They were undefeated.
That's right. They were undefeated.
Yeah,
and they didn't get in. But that was a 14 playoff. We're in a new era today.
We are.
If you have 4 10-2 SEC teams, do all 4 get in?
Probably.
Last year, Big Ten had 4 get in?
4 get in. They had Indiana,
Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon. Yeah.
And the SEC got 3 because they had, 5 teams at 9-3?
Yeah.
Maybe 6?
And Bama screwed it up at the end.
They choked Oklahoma.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Sydney Clevenger, hello.
Hello, you guys. How are y'all?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I was playing hurt on Monday, like Obi said, but I'm feeling better today, thank goodness.
I feel like my chances of getting sick are getting stronger and stronger.
They might be.
It's all the allergies with the changing of the weather.
But everybody says allergies when they all have COVID. That's how it works. I don't make the rules. People lie.
What did anybody ever get sick this time of year before COVID? I think they did.
Yeah, they did. They did.
It's called allergy season. It's okay.
Yeah, and it moves to your chest.
Anyway, I'm gonna.
Thanks for dismissing me, Sydney. She's like, whatever, old man. Moving on.
I'm gonna start out with some golf today. The number 16 Aggie men's golf team finished 1 over 289 and came in 3rd place in yesterday's round at the Marquette Intercollegiate.
Okay, they're up in Milwaukee.
Yeah, A&M's Aaron Pounds was the tournament's top performer on par 5s, averaging 4.58 strokes. He finished tied for 4th place at 3 over 219, marking his 2nd top 5 of the season. Alex Long recorded a top 20 in his first career appearance in the Aggie lineup. He shot 4 under for the last 12 holes to finish tied for 19th place at 9 over 225. The Aggies tied with the Florida Gators, coincidentally, finishing 6 strokes behind first place Clemson and 3 strokes behind second place San Diego State. And the Aggies will close out their fall slate at the Steelwood Collegiate Invitational in Loxley, Alabama, October 25th and 26th.
Good stuff. Anything else?
Casey Concepcion actually was named to the Paul Hornung Award Weekly Honor Roll yesterday for his standout performance in the Aggies' domination over Mississippi State. On Saturday, he cooked up 61 receiving yards, 35 yards from punt returns, and 22 yards, on a pair of rushes against the Bulldogs. Casey also had 2 touchdown catches, including his 34-yard reception that gave the Aggies their lead. And his
Did you plan that?
I did.
That was really good. I like that.
Thank you. And his 120 all-purpose yards per game rank him second in the SEC and 20 nationally.
Awesome stuff. We are way late for a break, but I do want to read this because I don't want to forget about it. B Glow on the YouTube page. He's a coach. He coaches football. And he always sends me some good insight. And on the YouTube page today, he says, Florida, they're not good at pass protection, but it looked like Florida decided we will just mass protect anytime we want to push the ball down the field. And when they do against Texas, they literally ran 2 receiver routes. That was it. He almost never gets past his second option. So if you're worried about Dallas Howard, he will stare at it.
Dallas Howard?
Yeah, I think he meant Dallas Wilson.
Yeah. Dallas Wilson.
But that being
I'm
said,
worried about Dallas Howard, too.
How about Josh Howard?
I worry about them all.
You remember Josh Howard?
Josh Howard.
Played for the Mavericks.
I remember Mo Howard.
How about Howard Hughes?
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
You went to high school with him, right?
I wish I'd been his buddy.
All right, let's hit a break here.
You let that go with Mo Howard? You know who Mo Howard was?
No, who's Mo Howard?
Mo Howard from the Three Stooges.
Oh, Mo. Good hair. Good head of hair right there. Would you take the Three Stooges to 1775?
Heck yeah, I would.
How would that conversation go?
I don't know. I'd say, hey, Curly, do you want to go to the 1775? And you go, certainly. Certainly, everybody was want to go there. And he'd go, yeah, let's have some of that brisket.
Okay.
And some of those, that sausage.
Oh my God. You're going to give yourself a black eye?
That's what Curly would do.
And you give yourself the Mo haircut doing that.
Watch it, porcupine.
What would they order?
They would order, I know they'd order the queso mac and cheese. In fact, Curly goes, no, Larry, cheese, queso mac and cheese. I watched a lot of Three Stooges, and I eat a lot of 1775 barbecue.
That is true. The thing about 1775, there's not only 3 options, there's many.
Oh, there's so many options. There's, like I said, there's the succulent brisket. There's the amazing jalapeno cheese sausage. There's the pork ribs that I like so much, the turkey that you like,
they got
the pulled pork. They got it all.
1775txbbq.com. You can call them up. 979-492-6241.
It's good.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
You know, I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
How often do people call you the gangster of love?
Just about every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go,
But most time they call me Maurice.
your name's Olin.
I know. I don't know why they call me Maurice. You know why they call me Maurice?
Here we go.
Because I speak of the pompatus of love.
That you do.
I don't know what a pompatus is, but
you do speak about
love.
I
think he was from Fort Worth, Steve Miller.
Yeah.
On the Steve Miller band, not Steve Miller of the Texas A&M, formerly sports information director and women's basketball play-by-play guy, but the Steve Miller band.
Yeah. It's different when you add the word.
I get them mixed up.
Yeah, me too. They look alike.
Yeah. They're both a joker.
TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's still the Go Hour, believe it or not. Presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. OB, shall we do games that you want to see? Shall we do that? Now, I sent Kadinsky some games, but I know we've changed a little bit of them. Let's start off with the game at Missouri, because this one, next week when we talk about what game we'll tell you about a team the rest of the way, we're going to find out a lot about Mizzou.
Yeah, Missouri's opponents are combined 10-16 so far. Mm-hmm. And their best team that they played is Kansas. And they scored late to make that a 2-score game.
Yeah.
So Alabama is the chance for Missouri to prove that they're for real. And quite frankly, Alabama still needs to win. I mean, I don't know how many losses Alabama can afford. If you get 9-3, they didn't make it to the playoff last year, and you already got one. So it's a big game for both teams. But for Missouri, it's your chance to say, yeah, we're not undefeated just because we're playing a bunch of nobodies.
All right, the next game. Interested, although I expect a certain outcome. Ohio State at Illinois.
Yeah, for Illinois, they have to prove that they're better than they were a couple of weeks ago when Indiana just took them to the woodshed and spanked them to a red behind. And Ohio State, Ohio State's #1 team in the country. Nobody's going to argue that they don't deserve it. Their defense is incredible. But you know what? They had a little bit of a challenge with Washington. Minnesota doesn't really count. They're not very good. But Illinois might be the best team they will have faced so far. And yes, that includes the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns at the time.
At the time.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Illinois and Texas played who I'd take.
Right now, I'd probably take Illinois.
Even though Illinois did just get spanked, but they came back and had a nice win over USC.
Yep. Then we're going to go to the next game. #7, Indiana at #3, Oregon.
Yeah, you always want to watch a game with two top 10 teams, right? And again, we've talked about what Indiana did, and there was always this real question, does Indiana really deserve it? They haven't beaten anybody. And we can debate how good Illinois is or isn't, but you can't say that about Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon's good. They proved it at Penn State, right? So I would say if you like a lot of offense in the game you're watching, then this is the game for you, because Indiana averages 47.8 points and Oregon averages 46.6. I don't know what the over is, but I'd probably take it.
Yeah, I would too. How about Oklahoma at Texas?
When you just know the Sooners just relish the idea of being the team that knocks Texas out of the playoff contention. Yeah. Before November, so they can put a third loss on Texas, and Texas needs to win. I'm not going to say it's a season saver for Texas, but
it can be.
I've lived in Austin for a long time, and I covered the Longhorns for a while. And if you beat Oklahoma, that'll buy you a lot of forgiveness, and then maybe it would be the type of win that would launch them.
They got one loss in SEC play, so
yeah. How many SEC games have they played?
One. But I guess my point is,
there's still a lot there.
There's a lot.
But they got 2 losses and one more. Again, last year showed us a 9-3 team's probably not going to get in. So, they're on the tightrope.
How about this one? It's always hard to play at Auburn, Georgia, #10 in the country. We're going to find out a lot about them, maybe more about them than we do about Auburn.
Yeah, we know about how hard it is to win at Auburn, right? And talking about season savers. Now, look, for what you want to say about Auburn, and you can blame officials or whatever, either way, but Auburn played 2 teams that are in the top 10, Oklahoma and A&M, and both games were extremely competitive, right?
Yep.
I mean, one was, 20-13 or something like that. The other one was 16-10.
But I think we all agree the Auburn game was a beatdown.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
But they were in a chance to win that game, and they were definitely a chance to win in Oakland. Both those games were on the road, so they're coming home, and that's a kind of an under the radar, shouldn't be not there, but nationally kind of under the radar rivalry. They've been, I think it's the South's longest series or something like that. So I can remember when the UGA, the Georgia Bulldog, tried to bite an Auburn receiver after he scored a touchdown. I mean, it's important to them. So I would not. We don't know exactly how good Georgia is. We know they're good, but I don't think they can go into Auburn and you just assume that they're going to beat them.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Let's hit a break. When we come back, you want more?
Yeah.
We've got Damontre Moore.
Damontre Moore.
The monster.
The monster.
We'll talk to Damontre on the other side here on TexAgs Live. Rollo Insurance, they build lasting relationships, and they do that through education, helping you understand what you're buying and the why behind it. They're the best. They're my insurance provider. Many people work at TexAgs, and obviously a lot of the folks here in the Brazos Valley, they have expertise in everything from home to auto to business and specialty coverage. Their independent agents provide options tailored to your specific needs. And they want to take the time to explain that policy to you in plain language so you understand exactly what you're paying for and the why behind it. Their educational approach empowers you to make informed decisions about protecting your family, your home, and your business. Many clients discover better protection at competitive rates simply because they finally understand their options. Experience the difference at Rollo Insurance. They've got 60 offices in the great state of Texas, and their headquarters, as I've mentioned before, is right here in College Station. Visit RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs. That's RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olson wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Before we let Damontre onto the show, I want to read this from James on the YouTube page. National media members keep saying if A&M can put it all together on offense and defense, a complete game, they're hard to beat. This team may not be able to do that. That's not the attitude I want to hear from our fans.
Yeah, I think they can. I think to put it together in the second half last week. So, but you want to see for the whole game, and I think that it's coming.
By the way, I still think if they score on that 4th and 1, we look at that game. We look at that first half differently.
I think so.
It'd be 14-3 at the half against a team that you were expected to beat by how much?
I can't even remember what the line was.
7.5, 8.5, whatever it was. So
I think it was actually 14.5.
Was it that much? Okay. So there you go. 14. Yeah, you're right. So regardless, you would have been on your way to that. So I understand your point, but I don't think the offense was as big of a problem in that game. Now, there's a couple games in a row that they've had some trouble scoring some touchdowns. Like in the Auburn game, they should have scored more, no doubt. But let's get to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Damontre Moore, our good buddy here on the program. What's up, Damontre?
What's up with y'all, man? Thanks for having me. Great morning to y'all.
Great morning to you too, man. So how we feeling about this A&M team?
Man, what they said. I've been walking around telling everybody howdy all week. I've been talking about it for a few weeks now. Honestly, I text you in the middle of the game, David. Wrecking Crew football is back. I love what I'm seeing. To go back to what y'all were saying with the fan, don't get me wrong. Me being a competitor and the football player in me, I did ask myself that question because we've seen this in years prior. We haven't seen this magnitude and the defense play to the caliber and up to this stature yet. But we've had those moments of where we were like, hey, this is our year. We could really be a contender. And somehow it was always 1 or 2 games away. If you even think back to our time last year, we were still right there. As my former head coach, Jason Gary, used to say, we were right there in the red meat up until that South Carolina game and the Texas game. So for me, I'm really excited. I see that we keep improving week in and week out, but also it's like I'm still trying to stay focused and stay locked in. The football player in me is like, how can they get better? Because even with us playing exceptionally well, being undefeated, it's like Coach Sherman used to say all the time, it's never as good as you think it is, and it's never as bad. But how can I get better week in and week out? And as long as I can do that, everything's going to be good. So right now, it's smooth sailing, baby.
Hey, Damontre, I think they get a lot better if they just cut their number of penalties in half. As a player, I don't know if you were ever on a team that had an issue with penalties, but as a player, how do you handle it? I'm sure it's talked about among the players too, not just among fans and media and coaches.
No, it definitely is. You talk about it amongst players. Unfortunately, right now, when you're winning and everything's going good, it's not as big of the emphasis. Like, it's easy for guys to joke around and be like, oh, he's going to get offside. But as long as he gets offside, then, he makes it up with a sack, or as we call the racer plays. You might give up a penalty, but if you come back and get multiple pancakes and, the team wins by 2 or 4 touchdowns, that's a race. People aren't thinking about it. But those great coaches are attention to detail. And I can say everything that I've heard from Elko, I believe he's one of those guys of saying, like, hey, guys, like, we're right here, we're winning, but we're supposed to be winning by a lot more. And the best way I could think of it to correct it is what he said, the Cabo thing. He's joking and everybody's laughing about it, but these players are now starting to get paid, some more than NFL players on their rookie deal. So start finding them. Like, you start taking their money, it's going to be like, hold on now. I don't want to just give you my money away for free. Like, you have to have a sense of accountability, and that's the biggest shell shocker to me. So I think he should implement that Cabo rule. But once we eliminate these penalties, oh, man, what they say, we cook it with grits, baby.
Hey, speaking of eraser plays, Jordan Shaw was one of those last week who was had a big penalty. I think it was on the punt return, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong there. And then then he got the recover where he stole the ball at the end of the game against Mississippi State. So he had an eraser play. All right, Damontre, let's talk a little bit about 2 words. I'm going to give you 2 words, and then you got to react to those 2 words, all right? It's actually a name.
Got you.
Cassius Howell.
Yeah.
Boy, That's how I'm going to react. You see that? That is a limited edition trading card that says All-American. When I tell you this man, I was just messaging him this past week. He has the potential to be one of the best pass rushers to come out of A&M right now. Like, we're not talking about potential for later on down the line and stuff like that. You got different forms of it. You got Von Miller that was successful at A&M and has success at the league. You got Myles Garrett that has success, didn't quite have the stats, but people said, hey, when he gets to the league, he's going to have that potential, and then he blew up, and he's the number one guy right now. But as far as leaving A&M, like leaving the nation in sacks, I think back to my tenure there, where before going into the bowl game, I led the nation in sacks, TFLs, and quote unquote, I think it was like 100 tackles at weak side defense end. I told this man, I said, bro, everything that I did, you're able to do that and more because you have the technique, and most importantly, you have the motor, and you're leading it. You're doing week in and week out. You're doing something that's never been done. 3+ sack games, multiple games in one season. Like, you're getting all that cushion, and you can tell that he's hungry. He's still getting there. And when you see that fire, that excitement, that passion to say, hey, I'm so confident right now to know that this is where I'm at, but I know I can do more. Oh, man, it is what they say. It's chef kiss. Like, I am over here. I can't rave about Cassius Howell enough. My godparents, Lee Hood, who has worked in the at the Bright facility with a lot of former players, Jeff Fuller, myself, Myles Garrett, Von Miller, and all of them. The first thing that they text in our group chat is 6 of us: her daughter, her son, her husband, and her mom. They said, we might have a new Damontre Moore. That man, he's reminding me of a number 94. And I said, to be honest with you, he reminds me of something better than me because I've never been able to do that. He's doing the untouchable right now. And I just hope that he gets all the credit that he truly deserves.
Well, you know, Damontre, I'll tell you one thing that, and you would never say this, but I'll say it. One thing that Cassius Howell has that you didn't have is better guys around him on that line with him too. I'm not taking anything away from Julian Obioha, but he wasn't going to get to the quarterback but about once or twice a year, right? He's got some more help. So when you look at that in depth, when you look at that defensive line as a whole, or even the defense as a whole, can they maintain this pace that they're on? I'm not saying keep everybody below 10 points or less, but just this I don't know, this feeling of dominance.
I think they can maintain this pace if we're being completely honest. No slack to all the guys that I played with. I had some guys that were outstanding in their own rights. Like, I had a lot of, quote unquote, as people would say, I had a lot of great role players that did their stuff. I give a lot of my credit to Spencer Neely. If he wasn't there, being able to do the things that he do, demanding a double team, like taking on those guys to where I could truly have a one-on-one, I wouldn't have had the success that I have. Well, the thing about Cassius is he's having that quarterback effect right now. Like, he's honestly having the Dak Prescott effect on his team. Like, you're the best guy on the defense, but you're naturally making those other guys shine. They are good enough. You have multiple first-round picks. And on top of that, the good thing about it is last year he got to see multiple first rounders, top draft picks go out there and ball, but not only ball, play within the scheme and help their teammates be better. And so now with this defensive line that he has, you have him being a first round pick if he keeps doing what he's doing. And then you have some other guys that are up and coming. Like, we're about to change. And then, like, I know we talk about Wrecking Crew, but I've already said it was D-Line U, but now it's officially becoming D-Line U with what they're doing there and the caliber and the talent that they have. Because the nose tackle, a big fella is doing his thing too. So I think with him having the success that he is, we get to see a lot of star talent from these other defensive linemen and their capability.
Damontre, we got let's close out with this question, a TexAgs premium chat question. And
Yes,
here's one from Cheers for Beers. He says, do you think the reason we're top 10 in sacks and TFLs is because how well our corners are playing? Talk a little bit about the growth from them and how that does affect what the defensive line is doing.
Man, yes, it is. What they say, front end helps the back end, and the back end helps the front end. If you got a good pass rush, guess what? We'll see a crazy interception like we did at the end of the game where you had what they say tips and overthrows. Got to get those. It happens because he's helping the front. There was a lot of time that D line was getting there and tipping the ball for them to get there. But then also in that same regard, those guys, the blanket back there, Will and York, playing outside of his mind right now. those guys locking everything down, instead of you having 2 or 3 seconds to get to the ball, now you got 4 or 5 seconds. And with the D-line and the talent that we have, there's no quarterback that should be sitting back there longer than 3 seconds, 3.5 max. So it's complementary football, and that's what we're seeing right now from the defense. That's why they're able to excel and do something that hasn't been done in nearly a decade, and holding everybody under 10 points, going in here less than 100 yards and throwing. So it's everybody helping each other, and I love it. What they say, when A&M is playing wrecking crew defense and the defense is known for that, that's when we're at our best and our offense can shine where they need to.
Damontre, great stuff, man. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, and Gig 'em. Appreciate y'all for having me.
Gig 'em. Damontre Moore there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. He's so good. All right, Obi, we'll hit a break. I want you to tell the people what you're wearing.
Well, I'm wearing a Duck Camp hoodie.
I mean, it's. I'm a little jealous because I want that. Now, I don't know if I would have worn green today. Just kidding. A little Gator green, but it's all right.
Well, it's not game day.
Not game day. This is right, because when I wear the blue, people gave me the hard time.
Right.
So I got to give it back. But it is a good look.
Thank you.
Comfortable?
It is very much so. Do I look comfortable?
You look very comfortable.
I am.
If it were cold, would it make you feel warmish?
A little warm.
Yeah.
If it was cold, and then even though it's not cold, I don't feel hot.
Okay.
I feel cool.
You're cool. And Duck Camp's got a lot of cool clothing.
They do.
What's your favorite thing? The hat. Come on, let's be honest.
I do like the hat. I like the logo on the hat. I'm not a hat guy, but when I wear I like that Duck Camp hat a lot. I've got one shirt that I wear all the time, and the T-shirts are great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I love it as well. Check out the gear at duckcamp.com, duckcamp.com, built for the outdoors and designed for everything else. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. We're back. TexAgs Live. By the way, TexAgs is cranking out content left and right. You know that, right? So later on today, Luchenbach. All right, that'll be on with Billy and Gabe. At some point today, we'll have our national outlook brought to you by this guy, Olin Buchanan. The hangout with Ryan Brauninger and Richard Zane during your drive home at 4:15 on the B team. Of course, we'll recap tonight's top 10 volleyball matchup. Already on the site, if you're interested, interviews with Ava Underwood and Jordan Lockhart. I did that yesterday. That was fun. And let's see, we've got an announcement later on today on some of our NIL content. We've got on the site, Jamie Morrison joined me yesterday. That's on there. No Layups with Rahizi. That's a very casual show that we've been doing on Mondays. And so, yeah, a lot of stuff on TexAgs.com. Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Sydney, read me a text, please.
Yeah, I've got a quick question from Dawson from Tyler. Which would be a possible worse loss for Texas, at home to Vandy or on the road to Kentucky?
On the road to Kentucky.
On the road to Kentucky. Kentucky is a bad team.
Kentucky is now Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt's now Kentucky from a few years ago.
If Arkansas and Kentucky play, who would you pick?
If Arkansas and Kentucky played, I'd take Arkansas.
Yeah.
You?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't.
You know who I'll take at the start of the 9 o'clock hour?
Who?
John Harris. He's next on TexAgs Live. Thank you, Obi.
Yep.
We'll be back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio, hour number 2 of the show. Let's go to the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We're joined by John Harris from footballtakeover.com and, of course, Houston Texans sideline reporter. And I feel like, Johnny, that's either a new angle in the office or a new office. Where are you?
Yeah, I think it's both, actually. It's a new angle, but it's also a new studio, which I don't know if I don't know how much of this, you can see, but we'll do a little panoramic there. We got the H-Town, but yeah, it's just our new studio. And I like it because the helmets are behind me now. And I always like, I randomly wear helmets just around the house. I used to wear random helmets in the office when I was coaching. So I like having the helmets behind me. My favorite down below here, the H-Town helmet. I'm not a big fan of the red. I don't like that one as much. I wish we had the bullhead with the red. That was my favorite helmet. But anyways, it's a little bit of put a little money into it. Not my money, thank God, because they put a little bit of money into the studio. So it's kind of cool. So we got all kinds of things going on in here. So new digs, so to speak. Same place, just renovated a little bit.
Speaking of wearing helmets, I want Cade to get the interns in the back to look through my Instagram. I believe in 2016, 2017 draft day, we both wore a helmet in a picture. Maybe Raheel was in it as well. Let's see if they can find that picture, because I feel like we've done that before. So anyway, let's talk a little bit of A&M Florida this weekend. I'm concerned about this game because I know how good Florida can be. I also know A&M, the way they lose games this year, if they lose games, would be from them beating themselves. So when you look at this game, how do you see it playing out, Johnny? What does A&M need to do? What does A&M need to not allow Florida to do?
Well, start with that. You're like, well, the way A&M loses games, you're like, well, wait a second. We haven't figured out how A&M loses games. I think when a team is undefeated, you look at it and go, I'm not totally sure how they lose games this year, but yeah, first half against Mississippi State. Mississippi State had a little bit of momentum. A&M, trying to find its footing offensively. And I'll tell you this: we were in Baltimore, and so I went out to dinner with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and so I didn't get back to the hotel room till second half. So I get in at halftime. 7-3. Oh, okay, man, what's going on with this? And then all of a sudden, it was like second half, just things started clicking, and I was like, offensively, they really got in a rhythm, and I felt like Marcel threw it well, and the receivers were making plays, and it was like, okay, this is the offense that I expected to see. It just happened the second half. So, first halves can hurt you in a way because you turn the ball over. 99-yard pick six, like we saw in the Jags-Chiefs game the other day. I mean, that can change momentum. You can lose any kind of momentum you build up. You could come out slow. All those kind of things can hurt you. But I think what A&M showed is going into halftime, all right, we go to halftime. We got enough time in college to make a couple of adjustments. And we go back out and we find what we can do and we go to work. I think one of the things, and I've said this since watching the two receivers in particular, Craver and KC, they get separation so quickly and so consistently. And if you watched the Florida-Texas game, the one thing everybody's like, oh, arch this and arch that. I'm like, first of all, Texas offensive line was putrid. Their left guard, 71, was getting beat repeatedly. And I'm not talking about getting beat at the third or fourth second of a pass rush. He was getting beat within hut, ball snap, boom, and he's beat. And so Arch was dealing with that. And then I think the biggest thing, and this is why I'm tying it into the receivers, Florida was like glue on the Texas receivers. And that hasn't been the only team that's done that. Texas receivers cannot get open. They cannot get open. Sarkisian's got to do a much better job of scheming them open because they cannot get open. I don't think that is the worry of the A&M receivers against Florida. I think Florida's secondary is much improved. I think their safeties play very, very well top down. But they were able to clamp down on Texas receivers, and Arch had nowhere to throw the ball. I do not think that is going to be the case. Secondly, because the offensive line for Texas is not very good at all, they couldn't run the ball. Wisner looks like he was running in quicksand. So if Florida says, okay, we're going to take away the receivers, so maybe they devote another half man or a man to helping in the secondary, well, A&M is just going to pound the ball or should be able to. You flip it over to the other side. If Lagway stays or gets hot, then that becomes problematic. Dallas Wilson was tremendous. If he stays healthy with he and Vernell Brown, they can be very, very dynamic. But I feel like A&M matches up secondary-wise okay with them. But it's Lagway that's the key. And when Lagway struggled, and the biggest game he struggled was LSU, LSU showed him some different looks, and he got rattled. They were playing a lot of disguises. Guys were disguising what they were doing. They weren't making their moves until the last moment. And he threw interceptions right to guys he thought was a certain coverage. And, oh, man, there's an LSU Tiger right there, and he threw right to him. I think that's what A&M's got to do. They have to change the picture for him post-snap as much as they feel comfortable with. And if they do that, Lagway will throw them a ball or two, and that could be definitely the difference in what could be a close game. I feel like this is an A&M 10-point victory, but, again, the confidence that Florida can gather in a win over Texas, just know that Texas and A&M are not the same this year. They are not the same. They play at two different speed levels, and it's not even close.
Talking to Johnny Harris here on TexAgs Live. All right, Johnny, so one of the things that I've been very impressed with is the in-game adjustments from this coaching staff. What have you seen from Texas A&M when it comes to evolving as the game evolves?
Well, the one thing I said last week, and I know you weren't there, David, and I know you had to take care of family stuff, so love to you and your family, of course. One thing I said was that I feel like A&M's got different ways to beat you. And I feel like with, especially, offensively, but when you have different ways to beat a team, I think you just have to find at some point, okay, we'd like to do this. We went into the game thinking we're going to see this. We're going to see 3 down. We're going to see 3 drop 8. We're going to see a lot of blitz. We're going to see, blitz zone. We're going to see a lot of zero. You go in with this idea of what you think you're going to see. So you go out there and all of a sudden, oh man, it's 4 down. Oh, they're not playing blitz zero. They're playing a bunch of match zone. They're doing a lot of different things. Okay, what's our other way of winning this game? Well, we got to adjust to the changes we just saw. But you know what? They're trying to take away this. Okay, well, let's go take that. And I think when you have different ways to win games, because you are balanced offensively, and I feel like Colin Klein has really kind of tapped into his bag of, and when I say creativity, I'm not talking about double passes. I'm not talking about trick plays. I'm just talking about different tweaks off of things you do well. I think it's what's the right way of saying it? It's more evident when you can make the change. Like, hey, I remember this with Belichick. I remember we talked to so many people about Belichick over the years. He's had so many different Patriots people in here. And I said one of the things that Bill was good at was he would walk over to each offensive and defensive coordinator and say, hey, this is a grinded out game. Hey, we're going to have to air this thing out. This is going to be a shootout kind of game. Like he understood the kind of game it was going to be. And so his offensive and defensive coordinators could make their adjustments. I think that's key for Colin Klein and Jay Bateman is knowing what kind of game this is. Oh, this is going to be a shootout. Okay, let's make our adjustments. How do we have to, and in a shootout, what are the things that we can do to make sure we win that game? And kind of changing maybe the philosophy. So when you have different ways of beating a team or being successful against the unit, you just tap into that right one at the right time. And I always said, and I go back to my years of coaching many, many years ago, the best team I ever had was one of those teams. I had a quarterback that could throw it a little bit. I had a couple of receivers, but we were really a running option team. But when teams went into the film room and they saw how much we ran the option, they're going to put 8 in the box. Okay, we've got to make the adjustment. What throwing adjustments can we make? And there were times, especially early in my coaching career, where I was kind of slow to make those. But as I got a little bit older and I could see, okay, this is the kind of game it's going to be, I got to change on the spot. And one of those changes, I remember, I like to throw it, but there was one game where I'm like, they're putting 9 guys or they're playing our pass. They got 5 guys in coverage in high school. This is kind of weird. They only got 5 in the box. We're going to run. We ran for 475 yards and didn't throw for a yard in a game. So just being able to make those adjustments, I think, are the biggest key, especially offensively. So it's like, all right, they're playing a lot of nickel. Well, let's bring out our run game. Let's force that extra guy to come into the box. And once that guy comes into the box, then boom, we can hit him with a little bit more play action, a little bit more of our passing game. I think it's credit to the coaching staff. It's also credit to the way they've constructed things that they can beat you in different ways. And lastly, when you have smart people on your units, like Torian York, I mean, that's as smart a guy as you're going to have. When you have a smart leader that can adjust and then get everybody else in the field to adjust with him, that makes it that much easier to be able to, as a coaching staff, be able to make those adjustments.
Talking to John Harris here on TexAgs Live. Johnny, you mentioned Belichick. I know it ain't going well for Bill there at North Carolina, but I don't think anybody could have predicted how much of a train wreck it's been. Just your thoughts on what's happening there, and do you think he is going to be in it for the next couple of years, or is this a one-year experiment?
It'll be interesting to see what the donors have to say, who the big money people are in North Carolina. The first thing that Belichick needs to do is fire Mike Lombardi. Mike Lombardi's an absolute wart on that whole thing as a GM. He doesn't understand the college game. He doesn't understand how the college game is done. They came out here saying, all these things they were going to do. And then the players they were signing, you hear from Group of Five, or what is it now, the non-Power 4 conference coaches saying they're battling us for players, and we're winning and we're getting those players. And it's like, so how good is the talent? Because they ran off a lot of talent. So that's the arrogance of Lombardi and Belichick. You're not good. You're not good. You're not good. You need to leave. We're going to bring in these other players that are lesser players. Like, wait, what? That formula doesn't work. Belichick needs to have somebody that understands college football and recruiting and not be so, and this is hard because those Patriots guys, and we've known a lot of them, those Patriots guys we're the smartest guys in the room. Just ask us. And I think that's a massive problem. And Lombardi is one of the most arrogant bleep heads there is. So he can get to stepping. So that would be the first thing I would do. Clean that out. He's already talked about, Belichick has, about all this, recruiting they've done for the next couple of years, but do you trust it? Do you really trust how good that recruiting is going to be? Because they don't understand what recruiting works. They haven't seen good college players up close to go find players. The only thing they've seen is, the opponent. So in my estimation, if they're going to continue with that thing, then Belichick needs a GM that has college experience, recruiting experience. Go get somebody from On3, by God. Go get Ryan Brauninger to leave College Station and be the GM because he knows recruiting. Seriously, you can't go in with a blowhard like Mike Lombardi who's telling everybody about this, that, and the other, and that dude can't do his job at all. So that's what I would do if I was Belichick.
Johnny, is Texas going to get their third loss of the season this weekend, regardless if Mateer plays or doesn't?
Oh, boy. The thing that I've kind of learned watching Oklahoma versus Texas, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, and maybe I said it, Texas is slow. Texas is very slow, and I didn't expect that. They play slow. They have slow players. They look like they're running in quicksand. I talking about running backs earlier, but they just don't look fast. Florida looked like it was a step and a half to 2 faster than Texas the other day. Wide receivers can't get open. The fastest guy offensively is Arch when he takes off and runs. And defensively, look, they've got some players, but even on that side of the ball, it doesn't look like they're playing fast. And that's the same defensive coordinator. So what's gone on? And when you watch Oklahoma, that's the sense you get right away. They play fast. And I'm not talking about up-tempo. I'm just saying reaction to the ball. Watch Oklahoma swarm to the ball. Watch the defensive line win at the line of scrimmage. The way Texas wins that game is if Hawkins plays and he just turns it over and keeps giving Texas chances. That's the way that they win. But if Texas thought that Florida's pass rush was good, wait till they get a load of Oklahoma's. They may break Arch in half. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma. I do think Texas, because just the spirit of rallying, and they've got enough players over on that side that in the Cotton Bowl, they're not going to want to get embarrassed. So I think Sark maybe plays it a little bit closer to the vest, a little bit, just to give his guys a little bit of a chance. But in the end, Oklahoma defensively is just way too fast and way too good. Way too much NFL talent on that side against an offensive line. And it's funny, I was watching a little bit of that Florida-Texas game, and they've been talking about offensive line. They brought in Tim Drevno as a consultant for the offensive line. And I'm looking at the Texas tackles and their stance. They look like they're out in the woods trying to go potty. I'm like, what is that stance? They can't get out of their stance. Like, it just, their fundamentals look terrible. And then the guys just have not played well. They lost too much on an offensive line last year to think they were going to be good this year. They're not, and they're beyond that. They're even worse than that. So it is going to be really tough for Arch Manning to make it through this game in one piece, because Oklahoma's defense is just way too fast.
Johnny, the Texans, it feels like they've turned it around. Have they turned it around?
I want to believe it. We all want to believe it. Glass half empty, glass half full, depending on how you look at it. They went out offensively and did what they needed to do. And beyond that, I think everybody thought, well, hey, just go take care of business against the Ravens. If you win 28-10, 28-14, okay, that'll feel good. Put the ball in the end zone. But I really feel like offensively they gained a lot of confidence. Like, I sensed it just, and I heard it talking to the guys in the locker room. Like, they really, like, okay, maybe we got something here offensively. Defensively flying around, now they're starting to take the ball away. And if this defense starts to take the ball away a little bit more regularly, look out. I mean, they're already the number one scoring defense in the league. Derrick Henry had 33 yards on 15 carries. The defense has been dialed in the whole time. They've made some tweaks and some adjustments defensively. Matt Burke's now calling plays. EJ Speed's playing linebacker. Got rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who was just kind of a wart on the defense in the first 3 games. But offensively, they started to find some things. And if that continues, if the offense continues to rise and defense just stays at its high level, now you're talking about a team that's going to be very difficult to beat. But you got to do it consistently. And got a bye week, be good, get away for a little bit, just take a breath, and then turn around and go play Seattle on Monday night, which is going to be a tough place. You and I went out to Seattle in 2017. It's one of the most incredible sports days there's ever been in Houston. But hopefully this time we go out there and get a win, and stay on the hot streak, because there's 3 at home. And they're all 3 tough games, but games that we have to make statements in. And hopefully we'll be able to do that. But if this offense continues to rise the way they did the last couple of games, regardless who they're playing, we're going to be a really tough out. And around the league, if people look up and go, oh man, the Texans are scoring 30 now, oh my gosh, we're in trouble. And that's kind of where hopefully we can get to.
Johnny, can you remind the audience what that day was like the last time the Texans played in Seattle?
Well, you kind of have to take the whole weekend as a whole, because Friday morning we woke up, there was an ESPN article and attributing a quote to Bob McNair that was not true, but it was leaked out by the NFL, somebody in the NFL, somebody in that room. And that started kind of a tumultuous weekend. There were a lot of guys like, oh, no, I'm done with this, really upset, but they all decided to play. So they played the game, and I think it was 41-37. Deshaun threw a bomb to Will Fuller on the first drive. I was like, okay, we're here. And then it was back and forth. I mean, that was Frazier, Ali, Thrilla, and Manila back and forth. It was incredible. And then we get on the flight home. And as we're getting on the flight home, good Aggie Shane Leckler is wearing an Altuve, Jose Altuve jersey, because it was game 5 of the World Series. And so we had spotty internet, and we're checking our phones, like, what's happening in game 5? It's 2-2. The winner of that got a good chance to win the World Series. It turns into the greatest World Series game of all time. And they score the winning run almost literally as we are on the buses passing Minute Maid Park at the time, now Daikin Park, on the way back to the stadium, literally scoring the game-winning run. So you had that football game in the afternoon, and then you had that World Series game at night. I mean, it was, my only regret is that we just didn't get to watch it. We didn't get to see that baseball game, but man, it was unbelievable. Had we won that game, it might have been one of the greatest it might be the greatest sports day in the city of Houston. It was just amazing.
One of my favorite memories was being on that plane and hearing all the Texans players reacting when the pilot would tell us the updates, right? Like it was cool to be a part of that. So I'm gonna let you go here, but I do want to pay off the tease. At the start of the segment, I talked about us wearing a helmet, and I think my staff found that picture. There it is. What year is that, Kate? I can't even read it. Is it 2015?
2015.
2015, Johnny. We haven't aged a bit, except we have a lot more gray hairs, and we look like more wrinkles.
I can't see the picture, so I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Okay, this, you know what this is? This is draft day. 2015. I was going to do the draft show, or that night we drafted Kevin Johnson in the first round, and nobody can ever find a helmet to fit me. So this is always a joke when I put on a helmet. There's a joke my mom tells, way back when, that my mom could only find me on the field because when I was a freshman, they called me up to the sophomore team, and my helmet was kind of a cream color versus our normal, gray. And she could always find me because my head was too big for any of the helmets that they had when I got moved up to the sophomore team. So yeah, I've taken a lot of my head is big jokes over the years. Yeah, very much so. So yeah, that picture shows it all.
Johnny, you're the best. Love you, brother.
Yeah, man. Love you, bro. Talk to you soon.
See ya. John Harris, dear friend here on TexAgs Live. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Max Wright probably wondering, why am I not on the show yet? Because Johnny and I went down memory lane. Farming and ranching families do think differently, guys. You're not just working for today. You're building for generations to come. And that's why Heritage Films created Farm and Ranch Films. They've documented timber operations in Washington, cattle ranches in Texas, and agricultural legacies across America. These aren't simply documentaries, by the way. They're actually cinematic time capsules that capture your unique relationship with the land that you love so much. Whether you're thinking in 20-year cycles or 100-year cycles, Farm and Ranch Films preserves that wisdom, that work ethic, and of course that love that makes your agriculture family so, so special. Your legacy deserves this level of craftsmanship. Get this documentary done for your land. Get this documentary done for your family. Check out yourheritagefilm.com and click on the Farm and Ranch section of the website, or call them up 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. got to apologize. I've done this to my guy too many times. We're 6 minutes late for an interview. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Max Wright joining us here. I believe I saw you on the field post-game. Am I right, Max? You were kind of wild. I think you were talking to somebody. I think I ran right past you. Am I right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, I saw you.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm excited about this week. It was really fun being in College Station again last week to watch that game. That was an unreal environment, man. It was so much fun.
All right. You've played on some teams that I thought had a chance to be special, okay? But and I mean this with respect, Max, it didn't feel like what I've seen so far. Does that make sense? Like, it feels like this is a sustainable model, and I don't know if last year felt sustainable. I don't know if some of the Jimbo years felt sustainable. 2020 on a different level, but like, just, am I right here? Am I just talking mess, or do you see what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, I do. You're not going to offend me. I know that we had a lot of talents and sometimes didn't play up to the ability that maybe we could have. But you're absolutely right. This team feels like it has the depth in all positions to do something really special. I don't think that there's really any positions around our offense or our defense that we lack in a way that whenever I was out there on Saturday, especially watching, I saw as, okay, that's a weak spot in our team that could be exposed here in coming weeks. I really do think that as a whole, this team is playing at such a level to where I feel confident that they can go out and compete with just about anybody. The staying healthy side of it too is a big thing as well. I've been really happy with how the team's been, staying healthy. Obviously, that's a big shout out to the strength coaching staff and getting those guys prepared for a season. And this is obviously the brute force of it now is about to take place with, the heart of the SEC play happening. But as a whole, this team does feel like it has the foundation to really do something special. And I mean, 5-0 for the first time since 2016, got the chance to go 6-0 and continue on that this next week against Florida. So this team really does look like they can do something really special this year.
I'm also going to kind of explain why I think it feels different to me and tell me if it's on a little bit on the same page. Last year, it felt like offensively it was all about Le'Veon, right? And or the running game, I should say. And also defensively, they were being gashed. There was big plays. Yeah, there was only 3, 4, 5 big plays that would cost them, but there were a lot more of those. So I feel like those two areas are like A&M can beat you offensively multiple ways this year. And defensively, they're doing everything that we asked them to do in the offseason, right? And that's why I feel like it feels a little different.
Yeah, I agree. They're playing really complimentary football all around. You're absolutely right. Last year, Le'Veon was the workhorse of this offense, and whenever he went down, we saw the impact of that in our offensive productivity throughout the rest of the year. But the addition of Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion, the offensive line being healthy, and the maturity that you have up there coming back, offensively, we got to see, even this past weekend, Le'Veon looked to be a little banged up in the game, nothing serious, but, Ruben Owens took the majority of the carries and he rushed for 140 yards and had an unbelievable game toting the rock. Also you look at that, the rushing stat too. We had 7 different guys run the football on Saturday to put up 303 yards. That's unreal productivity on the offensive side of the football and just shows how dynamic this offense is and how many weapons we have that can be used. So it's nice whenever you have a team that has real skill and real talent across the field and they're playing together well. I think that as a whole, this group is just playing at such a good high level together. And I think they're only going to get better from here moving forward.
Max, let's talk about the tight ends, because if you look at numbers, they haven't really been used very much. But when they are used, it has been very impactful, as we know what happened in Notre Dame, running the ball with Nate, right? And I still feel like there's a level of seeing these tight ends do something more. Do you agree?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think especially now that, in the past few weeks, our wide receivers have had really big games that are going to make defenses respect them. Now our running backs this past week in the running game has been so effective. And now defenses are going to have to really focus on that as well, as if they already, haven't had to be focusing on that. But I think the tight ends now are going to get to be used in kind of that sneaky way where, all the attention getting brought out to the edges with Mario and KC. And then, obviously linebackers having their eyes on having to worry about filling a hole against Le'Veon Moss and Ruben Owens and in this great backfield, that you're going to see these guys, I think, getting used more and possibly used more in shot plays. And they have the talent for that and they're consistent. think you're spot on with when they are used, it's great. And when they are targeted, they capitalize on those opportunities. So I think that tight end room is too deep to not get used throughout the rest of the season a little bit more. And I think, man, they're even taking advantage of what they're being asked to do right now. They're being asked to be, physical in the run game and go in and get their noses dirty against SEC defensive linemen, and they're doing it. That's a huge reason why you're seeing the rushing game that we're having right now. Is you've got six, not just five guys, but you've got six guys up front who can go head to head against these really strong SEC defensive lines. So they're stepping into the role that they need to right now to really help this team win. And I think that they're going to be called to do more in the receiving game here in the coming weeks. I got to see the tight end coach on the field this past week, and he's really excited about just the productivity from that room and capitalizing on their opportunities. So, I'm excited to see my boys hopefully get some more catches and touchdowns here in the next few weeks.
Max, Florida, just what you've seen on film from them, what concerns you about them, what kind of street fight are we going to get ourselves into this weekend?
Florida they're Florida, man. They're a scrappy team who has a ton of talent. And I think, last week we saw the return of Dallas Wilson was really, really crucial in that game against Texas. That freshman wide receiver, he's a really good football player. And he's someone who's going to test our secondary. Obviously, DJ Lagway has a ton of talent. And if he gets rolling and gets into a rhythm, that guy can be dangerous. He has the legs to be able to run, but he also has an incredible arm talent too to go out and dice you up in the secondary. So I think for us against this team, our defense is going to be tested. And I think that their offense, found some rhythm last week against a good Texas team and was able to put up a lot of points to ultimately beat that team. So I think when you look at the Florida team coming in off a big win and seeing us at 5-0, they're seeing us as their opportunity to ultimately prove themselves to the SEC that, hey, we had a rough start to the year, but they're wanting to bounce back and try and go in and win against a top 5 opponent. So this is a game that worries me, and a game that, we got to come out and play at a high level and shut down any of the momentum that they could potentially build against us. But I feel confident that our guys are going to get it done on Saturday, and feel confident that if they play at the level that they have been these past few weeks, they'll get the job done and come out with the W.
Max, great stuff as always, my friend. Thanks so much for making a few minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, David. Appreciate you.
See you, buddy. Gig 'em. Max Wright. I won't be late next week. All right? Telling you. I won't be. All right, folks, let's talk about real peace of mind when it comes to your money. And I know it should bring you peace of mind. Check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. They have no sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what really sets them apart is this awesome crew that they've put together. They've got over 9 CFPs, a CFA, a CPA, all on staff. And they take their credentials very seriously. And they work tirelessly to help build you a future that you can feel great about. What you need to do is go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned. And that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs. And remember, gig 'em. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're about to go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. This Saturday, A&M is going to honor the 1975 Southwest Conference Co-Championship team with special throwback uniforms against Florida. That team did start off 10-0 and climbed to number 2 nationally and had a workhorse running back there who was awesome and the first Aggie to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated. Bubba Bean rushed for a then-record 2,846 career yards, becoming the 9th overall pick in the 76th draft, and he's joining us here on the program. Bubba, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty good.
Thank you for joining us here. So let's take us back to 1975 about that special season. Did you and your teammates sense that there was something special about that year early on?
I don't think so. I think it was a culmination of hard work we had put in from the time that we came in as freshmen.
Talking to Bubba Bean here on TexAgs Live. Bubba, how nice is it to be honored this weekend in front of this team that's right now 5-0?
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. It's sort of bittersweet because we've lost a lot of players on that team. A lot of guys have passed away, and it's sort of bittersweet.
I can understand that. How nice is it, though, to be in front of that amazing, probably 108,000 fans out there for this game against Florida?
Well, you know, it's always nice to have a chance to I guess people to recognize the things that we did back then. But it's hard simply because of so many guys we've lost, and it'll be nice to see the guys that do come back. I stay in contact with quite a few of them. We play golf now, so we're old guys now. We're old men now.
The last time you were on, you told us a little bit about the story about gracing the cover of Sports Illustrated. Can you just remind us about what that meant at the time and just looking back 50 years later?
Well, it was something that I did not expect. It was something that happened. The fact that we beat Texas, and just so happens, I guess I was one of the people that helped that to be achieved. And they thought it would be something to be nice to go on the cover of a magazine. I get covers from time to time from people to sign, but I will only sign them if I know they come from A&M people. And so, I'm proud of that. But, I've moved on since then.
No doubt about that, sir. Have you been paying attention to what Coach Elko is doing here with Texas A&M?
Well, I hate to be blunt, but the answer is no. I have a grandson that plays at Texas Southern.
Okay.
And recovering from subdural hematoma, I got to see his first game last weekend. So my Saturdays are spent, following him when I can or when I'm able to travel. But I check in on the scores on Saturdays just to make sure we're doing okay.
Can you remind us about your relationship with RC? Because I'm trying to think back. He was a defensive assistant at the time, and he helped recruit you, right?
Yes. RC recruited me. Actually, he was recruiting me for Kansas State, which he was a member of their staff. I don't know. I may have been a sophomore in high school. But I was with him to the day Coach Ballard called him and offered him the job here. And it's been sort of just, history since then. I've known RC a long time and still talk to him and play golf with him every once in a while.
Are you still living here in town, sir?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, we hope to see you soon. I know you've been dealing with a lot of stuff, and I hope to get you in studio. And we look forward to catching up with you very soon. And have a great weekend. Enjoy the festivities, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. The great Bubba Bean here on TexAgs Live. Appreciate his time here. What we'll do is we will hit a break. We'll come back with Around Aggieland, and we'll chit-chat with Kaylee Dreyer. I hope I'm right. It's today, right, Kate? Because one time I just put her on blast on Around Aggieland. She's like, I'm not even here. But yes, she is here today. Pumpkin Palooza time. Can you now do the counting? How many?
What?
Okay. I have a script, but I kind of jump around on the script, okay? How many times I say the word pumpkin? I've already said it once. Now twice.
Got it.
Okay? Here we go. Pumpkin Palooza is the Brazos Valley's favorite fall festival. It's happening on October the 18th and 19th at Milliken Reserve and South College Station. Yes, the pumpkins really do fly. The festival's famous pumpkin chunkin launchers send pumpkin soaring. Expect hay rides, pumpkin painting, farms, animals, inflatables, games, and pumpkin game team competition. You can fly cast, good fly roundup. They've got the pumpkin trail run. You've got the youth mountain biking. You've got great food from Wildflower Mead Beer Garden and Beer by the lake. You've got the great music. You've got the food trucks. You've got tickets that are on sale and are a little bit cheaper if you buy them early. And every ticket supports the Milliken Reserve Land Conservancy. So remember, it is Pumpkin Palooza. When you get to Milliken Reserve, you'll arrive at the farm. There'll be some pumpkin chunkin', farm fun, food trucks, and much, much more. Check out pumpkinpaloozabcs.com. Tickets are great for both days. How many?
Got 12 pumpkins.
Okay, my record's 14. I got to beat that. Everything is the same around here because it's Around Aggieland on a Wednesday. TexAgs Live, presented by the sleeper, Kaylee Dreyer.
It's presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
The show is, yeah. And Around Aggieland is presented by whatever you want it to be right now. What's going on with you?
Well, we have a lot to talk about in Around Aggieland.
A lot?
A lot. Like
A lot.
every sport played this past week.
Okay, let's hear about it.
So obviously, as we've been talking about, the Aggies earned their second win of the season in the SEC and improved to 5-0 after beating Mississippi State 31-9 in front of the fifth largest crowd at Kyle Field. Both the offense and defense showed out as Marcel Reed ended with 210 total yards to go along with 2 passing and 1 rushing touchdown. Casey Concepcion had 2 receiving scores for the Aggies as he ended the night with 4 receptions and 61 yards. Mario Craver had 6 catches for 80 yards, as well as 35 rushing yards with 1 touchdown. And lastly, on the offensive side, Ruben Owens II had a career-high night with 142 rushing yards on 21 attempts. And moving to the defense, Torian York led the team with 10 tackles. Damian Sanford ended with 9 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for loss, as well as adding his first career interception. Cassius Howe continued to dominate as he had 3 sacks in the game for the second time this season. The Aggies will face their third SEC opponent as the Florida Gators come to Kyle Field this Saturday at 6 p.m. And moving on to some fall ball, Aggies softball opened with a 9-0 win over ULM. Tonight they're set for a 10-inning game against Baylor and 2 7-inning games against McLennan on Thursday and Texas State on Friday to conclude the week. Texas A&M baseball secured a 22-7 victory over Sam Houston in an exhibition game on Friday night. The Aggies used 17 position players, 11 pitchers in the 12-inning game. They had 24 hits, 7 of which were for extra bases, and on the mound, the Aggies struck out 12 batters. Friday, they continue their fall season taking on TCU here at Bluebell Park. And then also, as we've been talking about, Afena Kozak-Paula earned back-to-back SEC Player of the Week and Defensive Player of the Week after the Aggie volleyball team took down South Carolina and Alabama. This marks her 3rd SEC Player of the Week accolade and her 7th Defensive Player of the Week honor. Tonight is the first time 2 top 10 volleyball teams will face off in Reed Arena as the number 9 Aggies take on number 3 Kentucky, so come out and support them tonight. And then last thing I have is the number 4 Texas A&M women's golf team took down New Mexico and New Mexico State to earn 8 points to open up the NB3 match play, setting up a championship opportunity today versus number 17 Arizona. The girls look to win their 3rd tournament title of the season.
All right, Kaylee, great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. You've got some things that weren't on Aggieland or Around Aggieland. What do you have for us?
Yeah, so I have a little fun stat for you.
Oh, is it fun?
It is fun.
Okay,
I think
tell me
it's
more.
fun.
Tell me more.
According to collegefootballstats.com, Texas A&M is the only football team to have players ranked nationally in the top 20 in all the categories of receptions, punt returns, kickoff returns, yards from scrimmage, long scrimmage plays, long passing plays, long receiving plays, long kickoff return plays, long all-purpose plays, sacks, and tackles for loss.
That's an interesting little stat. It is fun. I like that fun stat. I want to continue that all season long. I heard a question on, I don't remember if it was SEC Nation, on a show, okay? Maybe it was, actually, I think it was Kubelik and Mac, okay? And it was, who is the best player at different positions? Definitive best player. So is there a definitive best quarterback in college football right now? And Kate, you can jump in. I mean, I think if you definitively, and I know David Edmonds is going to disagree with me here because he's just anti everything I say, but I think John Mateer, if you take away the injury, which you can't, but I'm just saying, like, who was playing at the highest level? Probably John Mateer. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I was frankly very impressed by Damontre Moore of Oregon when they played against Penn State. He looked really good, and he was making a lot of throws with different arm angles.
In the SEC, though. In the SEC.
Okay, in the SEC, I would say, yeah, John Mateer probably.
Okay. Max said the most talented, hey, Kaylee, the most talented is Lenore Sellers, and I don't disagree with that. But I'm trying to think, who would be playing at a higher level than Mateer when healthy? I don't know. Like, I think Marcel's been very good. I wouldn't put him there yet. I don't know. I think it has been Batir, who's been the best running back. Statistically, Ahmad Hardy, right?
Yeah, I think it's hard to go with anybody but him simply because of the numbers he's put up so far.
But again,
they haven't played anybody really, really tough yet. So
exactly right. So we got that to think about. I didn't listen to the whole thing. Wide receiver, I would say it's going to be one of the Aggie wide receivers,
or Brazil from Tennessee.
Yeah, right. How about pass rusher? Got to be Cassius Howe. I know there's others too, but I'm gonna be biased and I'm gonna go with Cassius.
He has 7 sacks. I feel like that's a no-brainer right now. Yeah.
Linebacker. I haven't paid attention to all the linebackers in the SEC, so I'm gonna keep it with our guys. Right, Torian's played at a high level. Sanford's played at a high level, so hopefully that continues. But I just thought it was interesting because there's a lot of questions, and again, there's 5 games in. We got a whole 7 games to go. But there isn't a lot of definitives at these positions. Definitive, right? Like, oh, he is absolutely the best quarterback in the SEC. Oh, he's absolutely now wide receiver. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 names you could throw out there, and I think the Aggies are definitely deeply in the mix, and Brazel's absolutely there. Running back, I mean, A&M hasn't had to rely on the run up until last week with Ruben, right? But they can. Le'Veon had his game a couple games ago. Ruben had his. But I think it tells you where we are in college football. We'll hit a break. When we come back on this very famous program that many of you watch and listen to, we'll have Ryan Brauninger on here. Please keep watching. I know it's Bronny. We love him. That's next. And we're back here at TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. A little Bad Bunny in the background. I don't want any controversial text messages. It's recruiting country.
Why would there be controversial text messages about Bad Bunny? Let's go into that.
Presented by American Momentum Bank. Because I don't need my musicians mixing in political takes. I just want to hear the music.
Well, he's definitely done that from what I understand.
Yeah.
So, and it has raised a bunch of eyebrows, so much so that they're talking about doing an alternate halftime show.
Oh, they really do it?
Not for that broadcast, but there's going to be another channel that maybe hosts an alternate halftime.
I think people were going to complain regardless if he had. Well, we don't need to turn this into Fox News, but I just want my musicians to sing. I don't need to know what they think about X, Y, and Z.
Well, here's another thing: is like, why do people put so much stock into political opinions of celebrities and musicians? Like, why are they the authority on anything? But as soon
Robert De Niro.
But as soon as one of them endorse one side or the other,
yeah,
they get a huge people flocking. And like, I'm like, people that don't live within like my circle of trust have zero influence on how I think. Outside of Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, a real doctor, by the way.
A real doctor.
Real doctor. Dr. Mike.
But if you're sick, call somebody else.
Yeah, he's not going to take care of the common cold.
Speaking of, I went to the doctor yesterday and got my yearly physical.
How'd it go?
Went great. I was pumped to realize or to learn that there have been some significant upgrades in medical technology, so much so that some of the old practices that were necessary even 5 years ago, from whenever you get around my age, I think your men will understand what I'm talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
They no longer have to do those practices.
And then there's some practices that they're having you do earlier.
I still haven't had those.
Well, you haven't gotten to that age yet.
Well, all I'm saying is the one that deals with the rubber glove.
I don't. I haven't experienced that one, and I'm old. Maybe I should, but
What's
I
funny,
haven't. I'm not finding out.
Olin had lots of stories about that one.
Oh God,
upstairs.
Anyway, good times had by all. As I feel uncomfortable at the moment, just because I'm the visual. Anyway,
why did you think about it?
Because I just thought of it. Like when
you
people,
sicko.
Yeah. By the way, my physical a month ago, fantastic.
Yeah, the doctor was he was happy with mine. He encouraged me because I am asthmatic. I got asthma late, like when I was in my. I didn't get it till I was like 8th or 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what is going on back there?
It's Luke.
Luke, dude, that's insane.
I'm watching his body language.
Like,
right now.
look, he's screaming. Okay, turn around and slap him.
No. Actually, put the camera on him so we all see it.
No.
He's like having a very.
It's crazy. This guy. Look at him.
Is he acting?
I don't know, but it's so loud. He's completely thrown off our segment. He's made it about him.
Doesn't he look like a 1970s like neighbor on like Three's Company?
He looks like a cartoon come to life.
Yeah. Now is that an original thought?
Yes, it's an original thought.
It's really good.
He genuinely looks like somebody drew him. Like that was the brainchild of some Sunday morning.
DreamWorks.
Yeah, Sunday morning comic.
Yeah,
he's still screaming. Okay, tell him to shut up. So loud.
Should we get into some recruiting?
I can still hear him talking. This guy, he can't.
Usually it's you that we hear.
Can I quote him?
Yeah.
This is what he said to me on Monday when I went upstairs. He said, I can't stay off Twitter. That's verbatim what he said. I can't stay off Twitter.
It's because he has no hobbies in life.
No, we were talking about because of the meltdown from the Texas fans, and then he has got to, his brain has to intake as many Arch Manning memes as possible. So he was like, I can't stop. I have to.
I heard about that article from the New York Times. I did hear about that. Anyway, what was the vibe like from a recruiting perspective?
Why'd your voice get like that?
Because I like to do that with my voice. I like to go up and down. On the zone. Sorry. So
you and some other people.
Kyle Field.
We talked about this.
Broadcasters do that with their voice. We go up and down.
Oh, is that something that the pros do? Because I haven't been doing that.
No, you do it. You got it too. Yours doesn't go as whiny as mine goes, but you going up and down too.
Okay. I'll have to go back and re-listen. If I do it, it's not something I'm doing intentionally. Maybe I need to start integrating it more into whenever I host shows.
Try it now.
Okay. Kyle Field's been awesome. It's been a huge talking point. Is that how we're supposed to do it?
No,
because that doesn't feel natural.
No, natural would be like, Kyle Field
Okay, let's try again. Just ask me the question again.
Talk to me about Kyle Field and what it means to recruiting.
Wow, David. Wow, Kyle Field.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You did it.
I can't do that for 30 minutes. Kyle Field, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. There's never been an opportunity like this for Texas A&M since they joined the SEC, and the opportunity being not only are you playing good football, there's a lot of folks talking about you nationally, but you have 3 home games in a row. That's never happened to you since you joined the SEC. And so you had to hit home runs here. Like we talked about it before this 3-game homestand started. I think I came on and talked about it after the Auburn win. Jason wrote about it yesterday. Like there's a reason why we keep bringing it up over and over is because this is the most important recruiting stretch of the fall, without question, because of the way the schedule breaks. You get 2 back-to-back late in the year. I just don't think you're probably going to have an 11 a.m. for Samford. Not going to be a great recruiting opportunity. And then you have South Carolina to wrap up the slate. And, by that time you'll have probably more kids available to come because a lot of their seasons will have wrapped up. But still, I mean, you have one shot there at the end of the year. So this was your opportunity. This was your window to do a couple of different things. First of all, get as many of the 2026 commits into town as you possibly can, and you've done that. And not only have you done that, you've also seen more of them, most notably KJ Edwards, shut down their recruitments when KJ was getting big pushes from LSU and Texas. You're going to have to still weather a couple of visits, maybe. I know that KK Johnson's got one on the docket for Auburn. You've done such a good job there that I think winning that game at home with him in the building, and then just kind of the nature of Auburn's season so far and their lackluster nature of offense, I think that you are in a great spot. We've said that from the get-go, but I think you've only enhanced your spot to keep KK Johnson. But that was the first thing they had to do was get these kids. You did such a good job with the commitments. You're in considered one of the best classes in the country. Keep them. There's not been a ton of flips happening nationally, at least up to this point. I don't know that we're going to see them now because a lot of these NIL deals and stuff have been agreed to ahead of time. And with I think with the fluidity of the numbers now, like, hey, I want to lock something in. Like, if I'm agreed to something, I want this kind of package. Let's do it. Let's get it locked in. So I don't anticipate as much movement in recruiting down the stretch, but that's a guess. I mean, who really knows? I'm just guessing on the based off of what we've seen so far. So getting these kids in, getting them to shut down their recruitments, huge. That was one of the key factors for this 3-game homestand. The second thing would be getting a head start on the 2027 class and leaving indelible impressions on those kids and those families, their trainers, coaches, whoever's coming with them. You've done that. You've seen it turn into one commitment from Hakeem Frampton. There's going to be plenty of others that you laid the groundwork for that you end up getting verbal commitments from in this 3-game stretch. No doubt in my mind. And we're going to get into some of these names in a little bit, but those were the 2 main things for me and for us as a recruiting team as we examine this 3-game homestand. Jason and I might sit down next week and do an in-home visit just to recap the whole thing, especially if A&M wins on Saturday night. I've got some trepidations about that. I'm a little worried about Florida coming in here.
I'm too.
But no matter by hook or by crook, you win the game, and you will be 3-0 on a homestand with 3 incredible atmospheres. I anticipate Saturday night's going to be bonkers again. And this was what we talked about in the offseason, is that no matter how you felt with other schools recruiting your commit class or your remaining targets out there in the class of 26, getting a head start on 27, in the summer, you can't fire that Kyle Field bullet. And they have, and they've fired it effectively in terms of hitting the mark for what they were going, their plan for the 26s and 27s up to this point. It's been everything they could have imagined in terms of them delivering on, you just got to come see this place. You just got to come see it. Come see it for UTSA in the opener. Come back for this 3-game homestand. At Auburn, it was hot, right? Didn't matter. Atmosphere was incredible. Saturday night, blackout. That was a big one for their recruiting endeavors. And then this weekend too. So you have to give them an 8 out of 10 so far.
Yeah.
and then Saturday night can move it to a 10 out of 10. You win and you provide another great atmosphere, and then you have fully kind of capitalized on this window that you had. That's probably not going to present itself again for a while. I don't think that if they go to a 9-game schedule, I don't think we're going to see 3 home games in a row in the league. So this might be the only time Texas A&M football will ever have this opportunity.
That's interesting when they do go to 9 next year. Yeah, you're probably right. Let's talk about where they are. Are they about maintaining, or are they still about adding?
Well, in the 26 class, they've done a great job maintaining. I don't think you can argue that. Where you get into, all right, what does that mean? How effective was Kyle Field really if you don't add to your 26 class? Well, you've got 27 kids committed already. There's very little out there still to be had, and what you're trying to do is flip former top targets that are committed elsewhere. Again, not easy in this climate, not nearly as easy as it has been in the past, at least up to this point. Who knows when we get down to December and real decisions are being made if things don't start happening. But, it's still the names are still the names that you're kind of pressing on. There's not been anything new emerge. I talked about this edge player that they brought in out of St. Thomas School in Houston, Obena Ume. He's committed to Duke. They didn't offer him. That's one that they're kind of keeping a pin in, and we'll kind of see how he develops and what his tape looks like throughout the remainder of the year. They brought in a kid last week that's committed to Air Force in that same position. So they're bringing in a couple of guys that just kind of keep warm. But the main targets are still the main targets, and you're going to see if, with Auburn having a bad year, do any of those guys committed to Auburn start calling you more? Braylon Womack, Jace Matthews. You look at Booby Feaster and Jamion Winfield committed to USC. Again, those guys have given you the indication that they're solid in their commitments, but you have to think that Booby Feaster is looking at what's happening in College Station and going, man, they're throwing the ball, and they're effective with these playmaking receivers, and they're open, and they're making dynamic plays in the passing game. Do I have to go halfway across the country to get that? And when I have all these DeSoto connections at Texas A&M, I think that's going to be a strong pull. So, in terms of attracting new talent, it's all committed elsewhere. And I don't think those kids are ready to budge. There's still some flirtation with Legend Bay, the athlete out of North Forney, committed to Tennessee. That was one that A&M made the decision to about a week and a half before he committed. Hey, we're pulling out of this thing. So that makes me believe there was some trepidation as they got to the finish line from the A&M side. What does that look like now? Has those trepidations waned, or is that more of an option? I don't know. He hadn't come to campus. I don't know if we'll see his name on the visitor list. We'll put that out tomorrow morning. KJ Ford's another one from Duncanville. I know it's been reported that he's coming in this week. I think one of the national guys at Rivals had that. We'll see. That's one, and we've written about it. Jason and I both have. If A&M wants to put the pedal down there, he's committed to Florida, and he was here for the Auburn game, and he's coming back, allegedly coming back. I still want to confirm that. But there's reports that he's coming back for the Florida game this weekend. That just feels like if A&M wants to put that pedal down, they could get him. Now, they chose not to put the pedal down when he committed in the first place to Florida in the summer. I would say this. I would have been saying the same thing then that I'm saying now. If A&M wants to put the gas down on that one, I think they'll get it. But up to this point, they've never really given it full steam ahead push.
Am I allowed to talk about a guy that's coming in this weekend, Brandon Arrington?
Well, yeah, he's committed. So he's one of those ones that has to, you hadn't gotten him to campus in a while, and you needed to. He's a 5-star from San Diego. The good thing about Brandon is he has given zero indication that he is even remotely looking around. He's been one of the more outspoken guys on Twitter in the class, and he's talked about this trip for quite a while now. And one of the fastest football players in the country, projected as a corner, but I mean, you could easily, this is a Travis Hunter type of deal. If you wanted to play him both ways, you certainly could, because the speed is that elite, and he'll impact the return game as well. But I just think it's important that when you have a 5-star from out of state, one of the top players in the country, it's important that you get him in with a home game and a night. It works out that it's a night game at home, and you get him in front of the 12th man, and he can just kind of, I talked to Evan Jacobson put out that interview last night, and I talked to him, and I said, what stood out about this visit to A&M compared to your last one? And he said, well, when I came for UTSA, I came with my parents and my family, and it was awesome. It was great. I wanted all of them to see it. He said, this time I came with just two of my boys from Iowa, two of the guys I've grown up with, and they've never been to Texas. They've never been to Texas A&M. And he said, as soon as we walked into Kyle Field, they're like, hey, dude, we get it. Like, we understand why you chose A&M. Yeah. Like, this is where you should come play football. So that was really, I guess, comforting for him, for like some of his closest friends growing up. Yeah, I think any 18-year-old, when they're leaving home and you're going somewhere that's not familiar to your immediate friend group, I think there's going to be, you feel like you have to explain that to him. So I'm sure it was pretty comforting for him whenever some of his buddies like, hey, dude, like this is what you should be doing. Like, you made the right choice.
All right, let's talk about the 27th on the other side. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with more Recruiting Country brought to you by American Momentum Bank. If you got a question for Bronny, text it in. 979-693-1150. You can do it on the premium chat as well on TexAgs.com or on our YouTube page. Right now, we're taking a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. There's Carbine, and then there's the Caldwell Country difference. They have a very strong and committed sales staff. They bring decades of experience to the table with one goal: complete customer satisfaction. They've been doing that for a long time. No matter what vehicle you're looking for, they're going to help you throughout the entire process. They don't just make sales, they build relationships. And that's part of the reason they offer the complimentary pickup and delivery for all of their service customers, because they understand that time is valuable. And of course, they have the complimentary oil change as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They have a simple promise. They want to treat every customer like family, and they've been doing that. And family deserves the best, including their famous oil change. So remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
We're back here on Recruiting Country, brought to you by American Momentum.
Give it to me, Cade. There he is.
Luke Evangelist.
Luke Evangelist as a character in Bob's Burgers. Shout out Jason Howell for pointing that out. But that's what he looks like. I told you, it's a cartoon come to life.
Yeah, if you're listening on the radio, this picture is, if you've watched Bob's Burgers, which I've never watched an episode in my life.
I haven't either, but that's correct. That's exactly who he looks like.
Is it weird that I don't watch adult cartoons, but I'll watch a Batman or a Spider-Man? I'm just not into adult cartoon shows.
It's weirder that you watch superhero cartoons.
I have
like
children.
Avengers.
I watched it with my children.
But not, you watch like the real Avengers with...
Yeah, like most of the world.
Right, but not the cartoon version.
No, but I would watch it with my kids. If I watched it in my room by myself, that would be weird. Watching it with your children, not weird.
But like, I feel like I'm a little bit more forgiving. Like if you watch old school Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam.
By myself, loser. Sorry if you do it. It's fine. But I wouldn't.
I don't know, man. Like superhero, you just admitted that you watch superhero cartoons. But
with my children.
No, that's not what you said at first.
I have watched.
You said I'd rather watch Batman, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I would rather. I think most men would rather watch crime fighting, than a rabbit just running around.
I'd rather watch the old school real life Batman.
Like
Batman and Robin.
Adam West?
The series. It used to come on Nick at Night when I was real young.
Not a cartoon. You're talking about the show, right?
The show.
Adam West. That show was it ruined Batman. Okay, it ruined him.
Well, who saved Batman then? If that ruined it, who saved it?
I think Michael Keaton started the saving, and then Christian Bale just took it over the top.
What is it that you like about so much about those actors?
Grounded in reality, and
their fitness levels.
Michael Keaton, I'm not sure about that, but Bale, yes, absolutely, yeah. And Robert Pattinson, a little too goth for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Batman, too goth.
Yeah, I mean,
crime fighting in Gotham City, he's too goth.
It looks like he wears eyeliner when he's putting the mask on. I got problems with that. At least I'm honest and consistent. Let's.
Are you?
Hey, Ryan Brauninger. Let's talk.
Are you honest and consistent?
I don't talk like that for. It's one word.
Hold on. See, you took that personal. I'm trying it out.
But you do the high and low.
I'm trying it out, right? You told me to try it out, so I'm trying it out.
Okay, then I'm going to try to be you. Kyle Field providing staying power. I'm sorry. Shall we?
With no emotion.
No emotion. Just an emo of emotions. All right. Let's talk about 27s in state, shall we? Landon Williams Callis.
I'm not sure. Are you familiar with Landon Williams Callis? You can say no.
No, I'm not.
Okay. He is our number one player in the state of Texas. Excuse me, our number 2 player in the state of Texas. Our number one skill position player. He's out of Richmond Randall. This is the closest thing we've seen to Devon Achane since he left Fort Bend Marshall. And it just so happens to be out of that same sector of Houston, southwest side. He's probably a little shorter than Devon. I don't know, Devon was so good. It's hard to be critical of him with anything. But this is as close as we've seen.
Yep.
And the track times in the 200 are close. Devon's were a little bit better. This kid is going to run for like 8,000 yards in his career if he stays on this pace. It's crazy. He ran just under 2,000 yards as a freshman, ran for over 2,000 yards last year as a sophomore to a state championship, former teammate with A&M defensive tackle Chase Sims. This was one, so that recruitment gets it's quiet. Like they kind of keep things close to the vest. Depending on who you ask that's around Landon and the folks that know him, you'll get different answers about who kind of he grew up liking, the direction of the recruitment, who he's favoring right now. All I can say is this. One thing that's been consistent since he came last weekend is that the Aggies have greatly improved their stock over the last 4 or 5 days since that visit. This feels like A&M, Texas, Oregon, but again, it's so hard to get a read on what the direction of it is. All I can say is that the Aggies made a move. Unquestionably, the Aggies have made a move. There's been some predictions even come in for him to commit to A&M. I don't know that I'm ready to go there yet because of how close things are played to the vest there. And it's a 2027, so you've got so many times for ups and downs in the recruitment. But this kid's a bona fide stud. Contact balance, raw speed, change of direction, vision. I mean, he makes some of the silliest cuts like in traffic you've ever seen. He is small, but man, it has not ever stopped him. And if you look at how A&M's running the football, and you look at the future of the A&M running back room, adding a kid like this, they don't have. Like Jamarian Morrow is the closest to this, but he still doesn't have the stop, start, change of direction that Landon Williams-Callis does. And so I think A&M running the football the way they have this year, especially the last 2 weeks, over 200 yards against Auburn and Mississippi State, and the number of players running the football, I think has really helped the Aggies' message hit home with Landon and his inner circle.
All right, Kennedy Brown.
Kennedy Brown, that is our number one player in the state of Texas in the class of 27. He's an offensive tackle out of Kingwood. And what's funny about Kennedy is A&M feels like really the only school in state that's thrust themselves toward the front of the line. A&M, Tennessee, Ohio State, Oklahoma. Like there's a lot of out-of-state schools and then A&M. And so I like that for the Aggies' chances. I think Kennedy, he's another one. Like he does more interviews, so he's more outspoken, but he's really kind of consistent on how he talks about all these schools that have stood out. Right now, I think A&M and Tennessee are out front there, but that's another one. Like with what A&M is about to lose on the offensive line, they're going to be replacing it with guys that don't have the experience. He could look at this and go, man, there's really not a bunch of set starters there. But regardless, for him, he's an early play type of offensive lineman. His combination of agility and power output on tape is insane. And he's barrel chested, but he's still got long arms. His feet move like he's 100 pounds lighter. There's real pop at the point of attack. He's super impressive. Really, really good looking player.
Ishmael Kamara.
Well, if you're going to ask about tools on the offensive line that are potentially even a higher level than Kennedy Brown, it's Ish Kamara, who moved to East Texas from France not too long ago. And he's 6'6", 335 pounds and does the splits. This kid's crazy. He's a unicorn in this class. And what he had to do is just start playing varsity football and just start playing football in general more and more. Where, Kennedy Brown, you can watch his tapes. This kid has been well drilled for a long time. And he's got scary traits too. But Ish Kamara is like, it's almost like Keati Armstrong. Like when I talked about Keati early in his high school career, I'm like, man, this kid looks like $1 million. And he does things that at 6'6", 270 pounds, 260 pound tight end, you just don't see that. Like it's rare. Ish Kamara is the same way. I feel more bullish about A&M's chances with Ish Kamara than I do with Kennedy Brown, and I'm pretty high on where A&M's at with Kennedy Brown. Like I think A&M is in a fantastic spot for Kamara.
All right, Cooper Witten.
Cooper's what we're talking about here. So these names that you're naming are our top 5 players in the state of Texas on TexAgs. So I think the other one I sent was John Meredith. Yep. So these are our top 5 players in the class of 2027. I am nowhere near ready to predict Texas A&M is going to go 5 for 5 in our top 5. Like I don't think that's going to happen. That's not how recruiting works. But if you made me go one by one, I can make a really good case for Texas A&M. I could do the same thing with Cooper Witten right now. I do think there are way more players for Cooper than maybe some of the other ones. I think it's like for Landon Williams-Callis, I think it's A&M, Oregon, maybe Texas. For Cooper Witten, I think there's the field's a little bit larger than the rest of them. His dad obviously great at Tennessee, Clemson's in there, Ohio State's in there, Notre Dame's in there. This kid, you talk about just production right now, he might be the most productive player. Him and Landon Williams-Callis might be the 2 most productive players in our top 5. He was a safety last year. He spun down to linebacker. A&M has recruited him as such and has been full bore on him from day one. Like I think if you ask Cooper Witten and his dad, the Aggie staff has made it very evidently known that they value him as their number 1 linebacker in the country in that class, and they're recruiting him as such. And A&M, because of the way they played, because of his visit experiences, I think A&M has positioned themselves right up there at the top. Now, again, I would not lean A&M right now, but if you told me this kid's going to commit to A&M in 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Like they're right there in the midst of that one too.
Okay. Thank you, Bronny. Appreciate you. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with PB, Peter Burns, here on TexAgs Live. If your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, check out the Association of Former Students that brings Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. We're talking about Aggie Ring Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tens of thousands of guests, and there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities available to get your brand in front of those attendees, and they offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. And this includes title sponsorship naming, on-site presence, activation, recognition, and social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie Magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with the Aggies, choose a partner that's been with the organization supporting the Aggie Network for over 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, do me a favor, email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our friend Peter Burns from the SEC Network joining us here on the show. What's up, PB?
Man, I wish I was in College Station either last weekend or this weekend. I'm telling you what, like, I still like that the blackout, the all like black on black look just looked amazing. And the script in the end zones, like, it was a clean look from the Aggies last weekend.
It was, and I think that crowd all wearing black with the white towels really popped.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, like when Mo Bamba plays, and I mean Power, I'm just like, and I know y'all are doing the throwback, but I'm like, dude, Mike Elko going forward, like just go full into like the dark side, Darth Vader, like all like turn that into like a new tradition out there. I'd love to see it, and they're going to need it this weekend because damn if DJ Lagway. They kind of got something figured out last week. I'm just trying to figure it out if it actually travels now.
Well, I'm interested because you saw Florida play LSU, and just like from what you saw from that game, and then kind of compare it to what you saw versus Texas, like I feel like this is a really good team that just has a couple of losses. Am I right in my thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think you're seeing a DJ Lagway that's finally healthy enough to practice with the better players on his team. I mean, remember, he didn't have spring football and because he was, banged up. He didn't really practice in the fall. So basically, they threw the ball out there and be like, all right, go figure it out again. And he didn't play a ton of football last year. So, again, this is a guy that's finally starting to practice, and they got playmakers, man. I mean, Dallas Wilson was a stud. I mean, like, we talk about guys like Jeremiah Smith over at Ohio State or Ryan Williams, coming on the scene as a freshman last year for Alabama. But this kid is legit. He's a real deal. I mean, it reminds me of like a little smaller version of Anquan Bolden, and that's a true freshman. So they finally have that kind of 1-2 punch offensively. The question is can they do it on the road? I've seen DJ on the road one time with my own eyes. I was on the sidelines. It was 5 interceptions. They got to him. That's why I think it's so imperative that the crowd is truly the 12th man coming up on Saturday night.
When you watch A&M play this year, what jumps out about them in particular this season as opposed to maybe what you saw last year or other regimes?
Probably the confidence and just the depth as far as playmakers, right? I mean, there's always been like maybe one playmaker, either a good running back or a good wide receiver. But the fact of you got 2 legit running backs, you got 2, if not 3, legit wide receivers, if you're going to throw Bussy in there as far as with Craver and Concepcion. And I mean, I said it on the show on Monday that if and when Marcel Reed figures it out, like they kind of did the second half against Mississippi State, A&M isn't the best team in the SEC. A&M is the best team in college football. I'm a firm believer that they have that amount of talent. They just got to get Marcel to get that kind of next kind of step. And if he does, man, I mean, I don't think it's close. I mean, that's a team that should be in Atlanta.
Do you think though Florida has figured things out, or is it still one weekend against a Texas team that's still trying to find their identity?
I think it's more of the Texas team trying to find its identity. I mean, I think they're good. They've always been good. They've always had talent on there. The question is, how many times can you say, all right, I got to lock in? I mean, it's kind of like a golfer trying to make the cut, and he's like, all right, I can't afford any more bogeys. Well, sooner or later, that's not easy to live week to week that way. So, and you can't live week to week that way in the SEC, which is a mini NFL, when you have that much talent. So, for me, I look at it and I'm like, there's just too much firepower for A&M this weekend. And frankly, this feels like feels like on Monday morning, we're going to be talking about, all right, what's next with Billy Napier and the Florida Gators and DJ Lagway and this whole crew.
Talking to Peter Burns here on TexAgs Live. Super interested in the Alabama-Missouri game. I think I figured out who Alabama is. I'd like to know how big of a test this Missouri team is going to be when A&M has to go there on November the 1st. Ahmad Hardy looks dynamic, but now they're stepping up in weight class. How do you see this game playing out, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I look at Missouri this year as a slightly better version of Vanderbilt, right? I mean, I think Bo Prabula, he doesn't get the hype that Diego Pavia gets because he doesn't, have the trash talking like Pavia has. But I think Missouri is legit. And I will tell you this, I think that when it came down to it, that Missouri has the defense, especially the cornerbacks, to at least be a speed bump for Ty Simpson and that crew, because that was a big difference. I mean, Ty Simpson was dealing. I talked to people at Vanderbilt this weekend, and after the loss, and I was like, all right, what surprised you the most? And they said, listen, we threw things at Ty that we hadn't shown anybody. Like, this was going to get home 90% of the time, and he always had an answer for it. He kept his eyes down the field, and he made us pay. And the fact of right now, Alabama, you have to play pretty flawless to beat them right now. I mean, again, Ty Simpson's playing as good a football as anybody right now in the country. And so he's kind of found his voice outside as well, too. So, I mean, literally, it's a coin flip game. I picked Vandy. I mean, I picked Alabama last week. I just thought Vandy didn't have an answer for those wide receiver crew. I think Missouri does. If I had to lean away, I'm looking at like Missouri 31, Bama 28 right now.
Talking to Peter Burns here on TexAgs Live. PB, let's talk Texas OU. Everybody's interested in seeing if Texas is going to get that third loss, if Mateer's going to play, and how that affects the game. This is one that I think for me would be a no-brainer if Mateer plays, and it still might be a no-brainer. Am I wrong?
I mean, again, Vegas always seems to know something, and the fact that when the line opened at Texas -2, I'm like, what the hell have they been watching? And then I realized they build billion-dollar casinos. Like they know something, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. His Oklahoma defense is legit. Michael Hawkins Jr., he's good, not great, but what have you seen out of Arch and this whole crew that think it's going to get better? Like, I'm not seeing C.J. Baxter come back this week. They're running back, and, he's dealing with a hamstring injury, and they've been struggling to run the ball. I mean, Texas reminds me a lot of LSU right now, and the fact of they can't run the ball, the offensive line is a mess, and then the guy that they thought the quarterback play was going to be incredible hasn't been that case. But the difference is LSU has probably more weapons than Texas right now. So I like Oklahoma in this game. I think we're kind of overthinking it. And again, I know that a lot of people are trying to give it hell to Arch Manning, and he hasn't played great. But when you watch the actual film, I mean, Manning's trying to make as many plays as possible. They have no rushing attack whatsoever. I expect Sark to try to run the ball a little bit more this week. I just don't know if they'll have that success over in Dallas.
Talking to Peter Burns here on TexAgs. All right, Peter, what did the bye week do for LSU?
I mean, to figure out who the hell they were. I mean, again, they got caught up in a bad situation against Ole Miss. You lose one of your offensive linemen during the week of it. In warm-ups, they lose another offensive lineman. Your star running back was out, and you lose your star wide receiver. I think it's a no-brainer down in Baton Rouge this weekend because I think that they're fired up, ready to go. They're going to run the ball a little bit more and really try to take the ball out of Lenore Sellers' hands. I think there was so much of a onus put on Garrett Nussmeier to be the guy when they probably should have done that simply for the fact of I don't think he was 100% healthy. I think he's better right now, and this feels like one of those 31-17 games. LSU just put South Carolina away.
Yeah, Georgia, Auburn. Is this like, I already feel like I know what Auburn season is going to be like. Is this where we find out what kind of season Georgia is really going to have?
And I don't know what Auburn has, right? I mean, like Jordan Hare is one of those places that you go at night and it's spooky, right? Like it's just a weird vibe. It depends on if Hugh gets out of his own way. If Hugh gets out of his own way and they try to run the ball, I think they're going to have some success against Georgia. But if all of a sudden he gets trigger happy and tries to call 30 passes, that's a recipe for disaster. So I'd like to see it's hard to tell right now because every game breaks a little bit different. But at the end of the day, I expect to see some type of run split, like 65% runs versus 35% passes for Jackson Arnold and this Auburn team. And I think that might be good enough to win the game. Like, we got to start looking at college football like we do the NFL. And I know I say that almost every week, but it's who you play, where you play them, and when you play them. And I think this is a good spot for Auburn coming off the bye to get right.
Who are the quarterbacks playing at the highest level in the SEC? The three highest quarterbacks, in your opinion?
I'll go with Ty Simpson being one. I mean, legit. I'm glad I put $1 or $2 on Heisman chances right before the Georgia game because I thought he would pop, and indeed he did. Outside of that, I don't think there's anybody that's been necessarily great. Mateer was playing great, but then he's been banged up, so we don't have it. Bo Perbula will find out this weekend, but they haven't played anybody really with the pulse. I say Trinidad Chambliss having to come in right now at Ole Miss and they play Washington State, so he should be able to put up a number this week. I'm really curious what Lane's going to do about Austin Simmons and Trinidad. I don't know how you can continue to not go with Trinidad. He's been so good. But I'd put, honestly, just two guys that have played extremely well, and outside of that, everybody's waiting for that third person to pop.
PB, we appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for making some time.
See y'all. Y'all have a good one on Saturday night. It's going to be a blast.
Thank you. Peter Burns there, SEC Network
Everybody.
on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. All right, hit a break. Come back. Final segment of the program. Since it is the final segment of the program, that's brought to you by Double Dave. So right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. All right, final segment of the program. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, and I see Cade's got a thought or two, so we'll get to Cade here in a moment. Let's see what's going on with Sid Clevenger. Sydney, hello.
Hello again. It's been a little bit.
It has been like an hour.
It has, but that's okay. We had gotten a comment earlier from Burnt Branch Creek Bees. That's a bit of a
Say that again?
Tongue twister.
Burnt
Branch Creek Bees.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyone know how many sacks Florida had on Arch? And They had 6 sacks for 37 yards. Texas had 0 sacks on DJ Lagway. So I'm going to ask you, was that a result of a good Florida defense or a bad Texas O-line? And how does that make you feel going into Saturday?
Well, the answer is both. I think Florida's defensive line is really good. Might be the best defensive line A&M faces this year. Texas's offensive line has struggled this year as well. So a combination of the two. And that's why you hope that Cassius can make something happen against a very good Florida, a pretty good Florida offensive line. I'm hoping for that. As for what the Florida defense can do, they're good, man. They're and you're not a man. They're very good at multiple things, stopping the run, getting after the quarterback. So A&M, I just hope they haven't figured it out. I hope it's what Peter said a moment ago, which was more of, that, yeah, they're playing a little bit better, but it's more a product of Texas as opposed to, no, they have figured it all out with all that talent. The game's going to come down to the quarterback play. Which quarterback shines the most? And I know you can say that about most games, but if Marcel has an excellent game, A&M's going to win this game, and it could be comfortably. But if he struggles and there's these penalties and Florida gets hot, that's going to be a problem. What was the other comment?
12th man in Edmond said...
That would be Dave and Edmond.
Oh, yes. What would the national perception of Mateer be if the SEC officials didn't screw Auburn and OU was 0-1 in SEC play right now?
I think it changes a little bit of the perception for sure, right? But it didn't happen. And so he gets the benefit of the doubt. I'm actually going to go to his stats here because I don't know his stats I've watched what my eyes say is he's one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the SEC. So that's what he's got 6 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions. Those aren't amazing numbers by any stretch, but his ability to run, his ability to lead his team, he threw for 392 in week 1, 270, 282, 271. And he's rushed the ball well too, 48, 36, 31, 31. I think he's a really good quarterback. And if OU, who nobody expected to be a playoff team when the season, I know some people did, but when we looked at their schedule, and by the way, Kate, can you pull up the rest of their schedule? Because I know they still got a ways to go when we talk about what OU has coming up. Look at that. So this game against Texas, they got Ole Miss still. They got to go to Tennessee. They got to go to Alabama. And they host LSU. Oh, and Missouri, by the way. We'll find out who Missouri really is. So, yeah, they've had some tough games to start. Auburn, tough-ish. Michigan, tough-ish. We'll find out how good Texas really is this weekend. But they still got those games. Going to South Carolina is never easy. Going to Tennessee, obviously, is difficult. Going to Alabama, so this conversation could change dramatically here over the next couple of weeks.
A highly ranked Oklahoma is likely playing a night game in South Carolina, too.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's interesting, something to think about.
That is. All right, tomorrow on the program, I know we got the fan show. I know we got Jim Turner. I know we got AT. I know we got Michael Early and Bronny back, okay? And I know we've got a lot of love for Texas A&M football. That's going to do it here for TexAgs Live on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you all mañana.